Moon boy, I hope you make it home. Feel like burning in your throat from the patrol. You clench your hands, where are your friends? It would be nice to.
Today I'm going to be doing a tour of my writing desk. This is where all the magic happens. Here I read, I write, I grade, do any kind of work, sometimes play. Sometimes I'm very intimidated by this desk, and so I wouldn't come to this area of my room for days at all, and sometimes I really do enjoy being here. I'm currently working on a novel, and so this is really where I do everything. Let's start on this side. I'm currently reading The Fawn by Magda Szabo. This is a consigliere or a coming of age of an artist who is a pretty successful theater actress in 1940s Hungary. I talk more about this book and other books that I'm reading in the month of February. I posted that last week, so do check that out. And this here, I have a pile of books that I would sometimes just read a page or two of before I begin writing. I don't do that all the time, but sometimes if I do want to get into the headspace of writing, I come to these. And the thing also about just these books is I'm more intimidated by good writing than I am inspired by it, but I guess that's a sort of inspiration in a way. And so sometimes I would just read a page or two of a really good book, and that's going to make me want to write, because I'm like, I'm very envious of what they've been able to do. Why shouldn't I be able to do that too? This is No One Dies Yet by Kobe Benben. Kobe Benben is a Ghanaian writer. This book follows the lives of a few friends who visit Ghana during the year of return in 2019, and this book basically explores Ghana's colonial past and also explores the underground queer scene in Ghana. I love this book so much because it gives very incisive commentary about Ghanaian politics and about the discrimination of queer people in Ghana. The book that I'm working on currently does also follow the lives of queer women in Ghana, and I just like to come to this a lot when I want to be intimidated and inspired. Second book is Nausea by Jean-Paul Sartre. This is his first novel. This is the book I think I read the most of when I'm about to write in the mornings, because it's a very good example of existentialist modernism, you know, following the very close insular mind of Antoine. The book that I'm currently working on also is pretty existentialist and kind of depressing in a way, and it's very close also to the mind and psyche and sensibility of the protagonist that I'm working with. So in the mornings when I'm planning to write a vignette where the protagonist has this overpowering feeling of hopelessness, of existentialism, of nihilism, when she's depressed and she has so much to say and think about, I would like to read this, a few pages of this in the morning, just to sort of get into that mood of writing. Swing time, I sometimes have on the desk. Usually I have just this book on the desk and then I rotate some of the books on here. Swing time I sometimes have or would read a few pages of before I write, just so I can feel intimidated by Zadie Smith's writing. And I also just enjoy, I think I come to this when I want to write confidently. I feel like her sentences are so self-assured and confident, and when there's times where I want to write a section that just feels very strong, very confident, very self-assured, and also with a very keen eye to describing things in a way that I never would describe before, I would read this. These are just some journals. Sometimes I would write if I have some notes. This journal I kept when I did a writing residency and I was working on my novel and some short stories. On this side I have, well, stationery. I have a few postcards. This is a postcard of a book, a poetry collection by a friend, Otuke Omukoro. I'll link the book down in the description. And I have these I have these bookmarks that I think are like 7 years old now, but I think that they're actually probably not bookmarks. I don't know what these are for, but I use them as bookmarks. I think they're really cute, so I kind of just put them on here like this to mark the page. Hot take though, I actually don't like bookmarks that much. I think they're very obstructive, and I can always find the page I was on. I don't always have these on my desk. I just move them here from my bedside table sometimes when I just want to have something pretty on my desk to look at or play with. These are a bunch of CDs that a friend gave me 2 years ago. I have the CD player that I use to play these CDs. And sometimes I don't even play them. I honestly just like to have a stack and just look at them. I have a sad light. It's actually really bright. Now that it's the winter time, sometimes I like to put that on in the morning before I write. Okay, so this is what I actually will use to write. This is a small tablet that a friend of mine gave me, and there's something I do sometimes where I don't like to look at the words I'm writing sometimes, and so I would literally just take the keyboard and face away from the screen and just type and just type and just type. And this kind of helps me to not always obsess over my sentences, although I really do enjoy spending time sentence by sentence to construct and to build and put stuff together, because I think that's the more enjoyable part of writing for me. I don't necessarily care about moving forward, which I probably should, because if I cared more about moving forward, I would be making a lot more progress than I usually do. But I really do enjoy sentence making, so anyway, yeah, that's that. I need to elevate my tablet a little bit, so this is just on a stack of books. This is a collection of literary mags that I have, a collection of essays, and a book about art, because I'm also writing about a visual artist. On this side I have, well, my speaker. Sometimes need to play some music, you know. And I have my mug. I got this mug at an antique store. A friend of mine thinks it's really ugly, but yeah. In here I have some raspberry leaf tea for my periods, and I also mixed some chamomile tea in it because my stomach's like really upset. But this is nice and also really helps. I also made this coaster. I cut out some cardboard and then sewed some fabric on it. This is important. I have a lot of sticky notes actually. I have so many reminders and sticky notes on here. Most of them are actually not even about writing. Sometimes I also just like get so overwhelmed with everything and I take everything down, or when I have too many of them, they cease to be reminders anymore because they kind of just become a part of the wall. I also have a bunch of stuff that I just play with, like when I'm on the table. I have this small puzzle. It's like 12 pieces. Yeah, 12-piece puzzle that I might sometimes just play with while I'm here. I have some lavender essential oil. I just sniff it sometimes because I get really anxious when I'm writing too, and I like to believe it's doing something. I probably shouldn't be sniffing it right out of the bottle, so please don't do that, please. I also have some loops. I am very sensitive to a lot of sounds. One thing I enjoy about having earplugs is that when I wear them, I can hear my bodily sounds a lot more. I can hear my breath a lot more. I can hear myself swallowing and stuff, and it makes me much more connected to my breath. It makes me feel more present, so I do like to wear it when I'm writing because it kind of shuts out the rest of the world for me and it just makes me feel like it's just me. I have some really pretty tarot cards that I just pull. I have the Fool on the wall because I always want to remind myself to really not take things too seriously and really just try things without caring so much about how I'm going to look, and to take the leap, basically, to take the leap. I think the Fool takes the leap a lot, so I want to do that. This tray that I keep stuff on, I made myself with air dry clay. This is a picture of my parents from 2014. This was at my book launch in 2014, and on this side is a collection of print anthologies that I'm in. This is the most recent one. An excerpt of my novel was published in Epiphany a few months ago. This is a Swedish translation of a story that I wrote about Grace. And this is the Kane Prize anthology from 2022. I did the Kane Prize workshop, and so I have a speculative fiction story here, which I wrote in like 5 days. I don't write quickly. I really don't know how I did it, but I wrote the story in 5 days. And this is a photo album from my book launch, and then these are the books. This was when I was 12. It was a short story, and then this is like I guess I'll call it a novella that I wrote in 2014. So I brought these honestly just to kind of remind me, and I keep them on the desk sometimes just to remind me of what I have been able to do in the past, sort of like physical reminders of the work that I'm doing and where it's going, and to keep motivating myself to do more. Oh, that plant I got from my therapist. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for being here. Please leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know also like what your writing desk situation is like, or if you like to even have a desk at all. I know people who just like to write on their phones to kind of take the pressure off of writing. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.